For the month of February, I thought it would be so much fun to do a vlog where we only read romance books since Valentine's is this month. So that's what we're going to be doing for today's video. And to start off, I want to take you with me to a bookstore because there's this new bookstore that opened up not too long ago, and it's a romance book bar. The entire bookstore is literally just for romance books and all the subgenres of romance. So that includes contemporary romance, romantasy, dark romance, monster romance. And it's cool because they also serve cocktails and mocktails there. I'm really excited to check that out, so let's go. No, actually, this like sounds so interesting to watch it.
It does.
I like that it's in like few ingredients. That's what's like intriguing about it. We're gonna be reading 3 books in this video, and each book is gonna be from a different category. Honestly, the categories are random categories that I made up one day, but I can't really decide on which book I want to read first, so I made a wheel, and we are gonna let the wheel decide. The first category we have is a romance book on my shelf that I haven't read yet. The second category is a romance book recommended by a friend, and the third category is just dark romance because I haven't read one in a while and I'm kind of craving to read something like that again, so that'll be one of the books that we read. Let's see what book we'll be reading first. Oh, okay. I'm kind of excited for this. We got a romance book recommended by a friend, so that's what we're going to be reading first. And that book will be A Million Kisses in Your Lifetime. This is actually the book that I picked up at the romance book bar, and it's also one of my friend's like favorite romance books, I think. Don't quote me on that. From what I remember, she really likes this book and she keeps telling me about this. I think it's been over a year and she's mentioned this book many times. I just haven't gone around to reading it until now. So I'm really excited about it, especially because she is a little bit of a tough reader. So the fact that she really likes this book, plus it's a YA romance, which she typically doesn't like, I feel like that's a good sign that this is gonna be good. Honestly, I don't know how to feel about this. Bruh, ain't no way this is YA. This can't be YA. Yeah, no. So just to give you a quick synopsis of the book, it follows our 2 main characters, Ren and Crew, who are high school seniors at this elite prep school called Lancaster Prep. Ren is this very innocent, naive, oblivious goody two-shoes, while Crew is, as you would expect, a bad boy who's like family, owns a school, and he is like utterly obsessed with this girl. Ren wants nothing to do with him because she basically finds him very intimidating and scary, but again, Crew is obsessed with her and he will do anything to get to this girl. This book has themes of first love, loss of innocence, heavy on the loss of innocence, breaking free from societal norms, and basically like learning how to live as your own person and be your own person. Now, mind you, I went into this book knowing very little. That's exactly how I like to read my books because I don't know, I just like the surprise factor. So when I first read the first couple of pages, I was surprised to say the least. And my first thought was, is this really YA? There's no way that this is YA. I looked it up later and it's not. It's technically categorized as new adult, probably because of how spicy it gets. It's pretty spicy. I would say just as spicy as in Huang books. And that kind of caught me off guard, to be honest, because I was going into this thinking that it was YA. I was actually expecting writing like inheritance games or like checkmate even. Just that kind of writing. It's not that, just so you know, so you don't go in expecting one thing and then you're like shook. I was planning to give you an update at the 50% mark. I got a little carried away and we are now 80% through. We only have this much left, so I do have a lot more to say about the book, but for now, all I will say is that the pacing is what bothered me the most, I think, because this is, how many pages is this? This book has 533 pages. I don't think it needed to be that long. There were a lot of moments that I think just like dragged out or maybe felt unnecessary in the book. It felt like a lot of slice of life filler episodes at times, but somehow I've managed to make it to 80% of the book, and so we're just gonna keep reading and I'll tell you the rest of my thoughts after we're done. Well, we finished the book, and I'm so sad to say that I honestly wasn't a fan of the writing. You know how people say that Fourth Wing has Wattpad writing? This one even more so. The best way I can explain it is that the writing is very straightforward, but not necessarily in a good way, like kind of bland. It was very predictable, the characters didn't really stand out to me, they're not memorable, really. And even the side characters couldn't even save it either. Crew and Ren remind me of your regular character of quite literally any good girl, bad boy story on Wattpad. And it has been years since I've been on there, but that's what they remind me of. I didn't hate them necessarily, but I just didn't love them either. They were just like, okay, they were just there. I think the biggest disappointment though was how the overarching problem was built up and resolved, especially how it was resolved. The final confrontation of the issue to me fell very flat, and it was kind of like a poor attempt of trying to make me feel betrayed. The character in the story felt betrayed, but I didn't really feel that way. Honestly, it felt kind of dumb to me. This isn't really spoiler, but Ren's father is, I guess, the source of the overarching issue in the story. And if you're gonna paint him out to be the bad guy or the source of the problem, I would at least like it to make sense. And it did for the most part, up until the very end, where it was like the final confrontation of this whole entire thing. And I was like, what is going on? I definitely think there could have been numerous ways to go about it. And yeah, I don't know. The way it happened, and it just didn't make sense. I don't know how else to explain it without like spoiling anything. But yeah, it was very unsatisfying. It fell very flat, and I just didn't really like how the author went about that. Now, despite all of those things, there are still a few things that I liked about the book. One of them being the fact that I personally kind of related to Ren, especially because she has a very strict father, and I also had a strict dad in high school. There were definitely a few things in the book that reminded me of myself and like my experience in high school, and so that was kind of like a nice little tidbit that I liked, just being able to relate somehow to the female MC. And while it also had some questionable actions and things being said in the book, there were also some scenes that I found very sweet and cute. And lastly, I'm not gonna lie, the spice was good. Did it catch me off guard that it was as spicy as it was? Yes. But regardless, the way that the spice was written was to my liking. And even though I said that the characters themselves are not very memorable, what I will say is memorable is this whole entire theme right here. A million kisses in your lifetime. Obviously, you'll find out what that means. The lipstick, the title itself, the whole concept that she had going on regarding this, I think to me was kind of cool. This is a book that I would label good trash, or a nicer way to put it would be like junk food, because although the writing is very meh, the characters are not very memorable, it's not really anything life-changing, and it's very predictable. It does heavily play into a trope that kind of like scratches an itch. That's what I would define good trash or junk food, because it's not really like the best thing or like objectively good, but with the right time, right mood, you might find some way to enjoy it somehow. It's the kind of thing that I would read if I was in between fantasy books. I don't really want to think too hard about anything. I don't want anything too complicated, too heavy. There might not be any books that I particularly want to read. I don't want to look too much into the next book I'm reading. I just want to pick something up. I'm craving romance, and I'm craving a specific kind of trope. Like, you read it for the trope. That's what this book is to me. But if it's not that, and you're not craving junk food and this specific trope, then it's not a book that I personally would recommend. All right, enough of that. Book one is done. We only have two options left, which is a romance book that was already on my shelf and a dark romance. I did enter them in a bunch more times just so that the pie pieces are smaller. I think it'll build up anticipation that way. Okay, let's figure out which book we're gonna read next. Oh. Alright, our next book is A Happy Place by Emily Henry. I've heard so much about this author, and I still have yet to read one of her books, so I'm actually quite curious, a little nervous, because I don't know if I'm gonna like it, but we'll see. We are 7 chapters in, and this book is giving me butterflies. Honestly, I'm a little surprised that I like this book this much with only 7 chapters into the book, because I'm not usually a fan of second chance romance. What really hooked me is the first flashback that we come across in the story, and it's when the female MC meets the male MC for the very first time in their relationship, and the chemistry was just so good. I love seeing the contrast between when our characters first meet each other for the first time and get to know each other versus the present time when they're not so friendly with each other, they're being a little bit petty, but they have to keep up this facade for their friends. Overall, I'm liking it. I just hope that it continues to be that way for the rest of the book. Season 4 of Bridgerton came out yesterday, and my friends and I are hosting a Bridgerton watch party for the first part of season 4. That's why I'm all dressed up, because this is my outfit for the party, but I have a lot of decorating to do. People are gonna get here soon, so we're gonna go ahead and do that while we listen to the audiobook. Why would she say that? Oh! This is infuriating. They're so petty and I love it. Oh my god. I did a thing since the last time I saw you. Can you tell what it is? I was getting so sick and tired of taking care of my long hair. It was already getting super dry and tangled. It was getting caught in everything. And the showers, oh my god, don't even get me started how long my showers would be because of how much effort and time it takes to just wash it and just maintain it in general. Like, I was tired of it, and so I chopped it off. What do we think? What do we think? Anyways, I genuinely thought that I was not gonna like this book because of a few things. One, it's something about this cover. It's something about, you know, the illustrated cartoonish characters on the cover that just, it's not enticing to me whatsoever. And number two, even when I read the synopsis, it didn't really grab me all that well. It didn't seem super interesting to me. Like I said before, I don't really gravitate towards second chance romance for whatever reason. But as you know, I got it anyways. To give you some context, I was at the airport with my family, and there was this little bookstore that I spotted. And my stepdad was like, hey, pick whatever book you want, I'll get you 2 books. And I said, okay, bet. So we go, and it's not like a huge bookstore or anything. It's like a little bookstore spot, but they did have like a good variety. They even had like a popular internet or like book talk section, which is where I found this book. Now, despite the reasons I stated on why I thought I wasn't gonna like this book, I got it purely because of brand awareness, basically, because it was familiar to me, because I was seeing so many people talk about it. 2, I didn't really want to stand there for like 30+ minutes making my stepdad wait on me as I go through all the books and read everything and try to pick a book. And so I kind of also got it out of panic because I was like, oh my god, this is my opportunity, 2 free books. And I was like, okay, let me just get this one. Even though it might not sound that interesting, who knows, maybe I'll like it. And let me tell you, I am so glad that I picked it up. I enjoyed the book, and it makes me want to give other second chance romances a try, to be honest. I love the dual timeline. It's a popular thing that authors often use in thrillers, so it was interesting to see it in a romance. It's basically where you're given the result or part of the result at the beginning of the story, and then throughout the book you go back and forth between past and present to see, in this story at least, to see how the 2 characters fall in love, all the things that they've been through all the way up until they broke up. Seeing how Harriet and Wynne fell in love genuinely made me think, oh my god, they have such good chemistry, why on earth would they ever break up? And I think that curiosity is what drove me to read until the end. Now, I did kind of go back and forth between reading the physical book and the audiobook, and I think the audiobook definitely helped me get through some of like the slow parts of the book, specifically in some of the past timelines. And unfortunately, it does heavily use miscommunication as like the main trope or like main issue in this book, which I've expressed in the past that I'm not really a huge fan of, but for some reason I was able to enjoy it. I did also like the friendship subplot and like the insight into adult friendships, specifically the kind of friendships that you establish in college where you have a lot more time, you have a lot more opportunities to see each other and hang out, and you know, you have a lot more things that are in common, and you all have that one thing, which is college, that kind of brings you all together. And then taking those friendships and trying to keep them alive as you grow fully into adulthood, I think that struggle is very real. And I guess I kind of like related to that aspect of it. I also liked how it ended. It was very full circle. There were even a few times where I felt a little emotional just from seeing, I guess, like the growth between the female MC and all of her relationships. Again, overall, I enjoyed it, and I genuinely want to read her other books as well. Now, as you know, we only have one category left, and that is dark romance. And for that, we are going to be reading Blood of My Monster. It's part of the Monster trilogy by Rena Kent, and I don't have the physical copy of that, so I will be reading on my Kindle. Per usual, I don't know much about this book. All I know is that it's a dark romance and it's a mafia romance. And there is just something, I don't know what it is. I don't know what it is about mafia romances, but they just do something to me. Oh, and I do know that it's kind of inspired by Mulan, and the male MC is like her superior in the military. That's all I know, but I'm really excited to read it. What? This girl is dumb. I don't understand. Oh, this is gonna make me sad. No. Oh my god. Keeping secrets is just not the move right now. This poor girl, she knows nothing. He doesn't even give her a choice. Fuck. 5% into the book and I hated the female MC. She's annoyingly stubborn, just very hard-headed, very naive, and sometimes just outright stupid and reckless. And then 10 chapters in, the book had me giggling, but I still hated her. And it's funny because a lot of the other characters feel the exact same way about her. They don't like her for those exact reasons. So I guess it's intentional, but my goodness, like I really had to keep myself from like choking out my Kindle. That's how frustrated I was with her. Like I said, 10 chapters in, the story had me giggling. It kind of took a different turn than I was anticipating, but I was kind of digging what was happening, you know? By chapter 15, it took another turn and I was really digging what was happening. At this point, we're finally transitioning from like the military storyline into the mafia storyline, and I'm liking where we're at right now. To be honest, the female MC is still annoying. She's still stubborn, still kind of naive, a little less outright stupid, but still annoyingly stubborn, and is just like always in people's business. However, I think her stubbornness and like her headstrong personality, I guess, I don't know if I should say likable, but it makes a little bit more sense for the situation that we're now in. But yeah, aside from that though, we're 50% into the book and I'm not gonna lie, I'm having fun. And this book does a good job of surprising me. And not in the way of like, oh, it's so unpredictable, but more so in the way of like the little things. It's it's like the small things that characters do or say that I didn't expect them to do or say. And so it makes me laugh and giggle a little bit just because it just catches me off guard. Yeah, I don't know how else to explain it, but it does a good job of doing that. Now, this book is part of a trilogy, and I don't really know if I want to read the whole entire thing yet, but by the time I finish this, I'll have an answer for you. Oh, this is so embarrassing. She gives me secondhand embarrassment. I love this found family. It's so nice. He's, let's say, attracted to men. He does seem gay. What is going on? Is Maxim gay? Oh, he's so irritating. He's so petty. He's so petty. Oh my. Girl, what are you doing? Oh my god. Don't ever let anyone tell you that reading romance books don't teach you anything. Because one thing it will do is teach you and make you practice empathy. As you guys already know, I did not like the female MC. I thought she was very, very annoying in the beginning. Her stubbornness in the beginning, I thought were like stupid things. But by the second half of the book, that stubbornness became really just her standing on business for the things that she believed was right. She knows what she wants. She knows what her mission is. And when she wants something, she is gonna get that thing. Her tenacity, her perseverance, just her overall courage and bravery, albeit sometimes are a little reckless, but by the end, it really made me respect her a lot. I know I don't really talk about the guy a lot, but I mean, I loved him. I didn't really have any complaints exactly, but whatever it is that you think of when you think about a Russian mafia man, That's what he is. He's very intelligent, very strategic, very cold, very determined to be at the top, very loyal, very possessive, and obviously has a soft spot for a certain someone. I honestly love the book, so much so that after I finished it, I immediately downloaded the second book and then continued to read it up until 3:30 a.m. And at that point, I just had to rip the Kindle away from me and force myself to try and go to sleep, because I think I probably would have read until I passed out. Quite honestly, I kind of want to like lock myself in a room and just finish the trilogy without having to worry about any responsibilities. That's how much I liked it. And oh my god, the second book, I'm not gonna say anything about that because this is not what's about. Let's just say that the way that the first book ended will also make you want to run and grab the second book right away. Out of all the mafia romance books that I've read, I think this might be my favorite. The tension, the chemistry. Can I say slow burn? It's a little bit of a slow burn in like the big scheme of things, because you're gonna get pushed and pulled. I will say that, because like I said, I've already started the second book. I could not help myself. And so knowing where that's going, I can only imagine how the rest of this story is gonna go. Like, it is a full trilogy that is connected. It's not like one of those series where it's a different couple for each book. It's not that. All three books are connected and it's the same couple. If you were wondering whether I was going to finish the rest of the trilogy, that's your answer. It's quite literally everything that I look for in a dark romance. And the spice is chef's kiss. It's not anything too extreme in my opinion, but I do feel like I have a high tolerance. But even then, I don't think it's anything super crazy that it will scare you away. But the plot is also there. Like, it's good. I was entertained the whole time. And even just like the pivots in the plot were things that I didn't really expect, I guess. Like, I genuinely didn't really know how we were gonna transition from like military to like more of the mafia side of the story. I think that it had a few good side characters as well that really made the story even more enjoyable. Just seeing the female MC establish and like nurture all these other relationships outside of like the main romance was also really nice to see, and I think they just kind of added to the overall enjoyment of the story. But also, because of the circumstances, I can't help but still feel anxious, a little nervy about like what's gonna happen and how things are gonna play out and how that may affect everybody and all the relationships we've made so far. If you were looking for a dark romance, a mafia romance that has good spice and good plot and just, you know, like it's overall good, not just good trash, but just good, then definitely read this book. I think you'll really enjoy it. Transparently, the first 30% maybe you might find the female MC annoying. And if you have any background or any knowledge at all about the military, I think that also makes it a little bit more frustrating, because I'm just like, what? Like, how does that even, did you not go through training? Like, how are you so weak? And I'm not even gonna get into that. So yes, it is a little bit of a frustrating start, but I promise getting through that, it's worth it. Anyways, I do have a Valentine's dinner that I have to go to, so I have to go. But thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. It feels too right.